Las opiniones y temas vertidos en este programa son de exclusiva responsabilidad de quienes los emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento y filosofía de Radio Amiga y la Universidad La Gran Colombia.
You want to learn languages and culture? Clic on Air is your best option. Come and join us. Listen to us every Wednesday through www.radioamigainternational.com.
Radio Amiga, musical culture, 11 years on air.
Hello, Clic on listeners. Hello, Clic on viewers. Welcome to Clic on Air. I forgot the name now. I'm sorry. Welcome to Clic on Air. Today is Wednesday, 4 p.m. Here we are from a Radio Amiga's cabin here, where radio is created. Here I am with my colleague Nicolas Noza, and it's Wednesday, 4 p.m. We have an excellent topic to speak about. It's related to the last topic we developed last Wednesday, so it's very interesting. So thank you for being with us one more Wednesday, and let's say hello to Teacher Nicolas. Hey man, how are you?
Hey, Teacher Luis. Hello, Clic on viewers. I am good. Thanks for asking. Happy to be here like every Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Clic on Air is your best option. Come and join us. Good, teacher. Happy to be here. Like you said before, today we are going to carry on with the topics of this month, which is related to comics. Now we talk about comics and we talk about cosplays and things like that. So today's topic is related to that. And also for that amazing topic, we have an excellent guest. He's not a guest anymore. Probably he's more like a co-host as well. So let's say hello to Teacher Julian. Hello, teacher.
Hey, teacher.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Good
how
to
are
be
you?
here. Great.
Nice to see you again. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Yes. One more time.
Yeah,
Working
sorry,
It's very
but you are an expert in different topics. That's why we always try to have your opinion, because it's very important, and especially for this topic, right, Teacher Luis?
Yes, I mean last week we were speaking about this topic that we're not experts. I mean we have not like a lot of idea about this.
Especially you?
Yes, I'm not an expert, but we learned a lot. That's important. We learned a lot last last Wednesday. I'm sorry,
Wednesday.
and I don't know what's happening to
Are
me.
you drunk, man?
And the idea is that I want to continue learning, and that's why Teacher Julian is here with us. But first of all, I want Nicolas to introduce the topic for today.
Yes, please, Clic on viewers, Clic on listeners. Participate with the hashtag of today, which is Clic on collections. Yeah, collections. Answer these questions, please. Have you ever collected anything? Yeah, in your life. What collection would you like to have and why? So please tell us. Participate with those questions. And let us know about your opinion. Clic on collection. Hashtag Clic on collection.
That's it. And remember, here with us is Teacher Julian Jimenez. But hey, teacher, tell us a little bit. What have you been doing these days?
We miss you.
Okay, thank you, guys. Well, as everybody knows, I've been working as a languages teacher for the Clic, and it's been a hard week, because these days my students have had their exams and presentations and stuff like that. But anyway, I am here with you. Yes. Well, Luis said that I was an expert. I'm not an expert, but I like to have an opinion on different topics. Thank you so much for the tag. But yes, this is what I have been doing. Yes, working with my students, having time to to listen to music, read some manga, read some comics, watch some anime series and TV series and stuff like that. That is my hobby.
Excellent. So, click on listeners. You see, notice that teacher Julian said, I've been reading like some manga and some comics. So he differentiate those two concepts, and that's what uh, ahead. I mean, we will be speaking about that and that differentiation. Like, what's the difference between a manga and comic? Because normal they are not the same, but for some people they might be, or we confuse the terminology. But that's what we're going to be speaking in a moment. But right now we're going to click on music, my friend.
Yeah, let's click on music for the first time. Let's click on the song Bad Dance by Prince, Mr. Prince.
It's not like that, or can
Or
be
it's
an
not
animal. I don't know. Maybe teacher Julian can explain that to us. Hey, teacher Julian, why do you like that song?
Well, actually, it was the song started by Michael Keaton, the first in the series, at the end of the 80s, actually 1989, when it was shown at the movies. And the soundtrack was, the main song was written by Prince. And it's called Bad Dance because if you watch the video, there is a choreography between a group of jokers and a group of Batmen. So it's very nice and it's very cool. And it's a crazy song, as you notice, the song has a lot of changes as well as in the video. And Prince is wearing a costume like the Joker. So it's pretty nice to watch that. That's why I like it. And Batman was one of my favorite superheroes in that time.
What do you think about the song, teacher Nicholas?
Yeah, it's well, it's not related to the animal. It's related to the superhero Batman, of course. Now it's clear. Really nice song. Yeah, I like it, and also the changes of the song, like Julian said, they are so cool. No, so you see the song comes like with this rhythm, but then the rhythm change into faster, and then go slower again, and then go faster.
Faster, and then
The
middle.
slower and then faster. And yeah, it's quite cool. You don't understand because you don't know about music.
No, I am not a very Prince fan, but it's like, but okay. Let's start Click on listeners. Remember today, the topic for today is Click on collections. And if you ever had, if you have ever had any collection, please tell us about that. Write about your collections. Let us know what do you like to collect and what would you like to collect and why. Tell us. And I want to start by asking teacher Julian, because he was saying like this song is related to Batman. See, no bad man, but Batman. And it's like a very famous superhero, but it's not like a real superhero. It's a hero because it doesn't have superpower. But why is Batman so popular, teacher? Can you tell us why?
Well, like any superhero, there is something special about him. Well, maybe he doesn't have a supernatural power like Superman or the Flash or something like that. But he is very intelligent. More than a superhero, he's like a detective, and that's why many comic collectors like Batman or the Batman very much. Is because of his intelligence, his abilities. He likes to research. He knows about chemistry. He knows about biology. He knows about many things, and also he has a lot of technology to work with, and that's why. And also, well, his appearance, like the dark, like the dark hero. Yes, at the beginning was like blue and gray, but there are other versions in which they look darker, and that's why.
Yeah.
And all the concept, the Gotham City, the villains at the beginning, the Penguin, the Joker, Two-Faced, Catwoman, they are iconic.
I saw I mean, the last this movie, the League, the Justice League. I saw the original one, and then I saw the Snyder cut, which is very long. But there is a scene where Batman is recruiting new superheroes to form the Justice League, and he goes to recruit the Flash. And the Flash asked the Batman, like, "What's your superhero?" And Batman said, "I'm rich."
Superpower,
Right?
yeah.
Exactly.
What's
What's your superpower? And Batman said, "I'm
He's
rich."
being rich. Yes, but yes, as I mentioned, he's very intelligent. Also, well, he has some techniques for fighting and stuff like that. Yes, it's not necessary to have a superpower to be a superhero.
Yeah, money is a superpower.
I think that people like Batman because you can be Batman. Yeah, I mean, it's something that is possible. No, to I know Batman has a lot of skills and things like that. But if you train harder or something like that, you can be a Batman. The other, I mean,
Batman.
you can be Batman.
Okay.
I'm Batman. No, you can be a Batman or a Batman as well, whatever. But also the things like, yeah, it's difficult to imitate Superman, for example, because he's obviously it's a super strength and things like that. But Batman, you can buy a car with intelligence and weapons and many things, and then you can go to Bogota's street and fight the crime.
I once tried to emulate Superman and I broke my arm, so it wasn't a good idea. So, teacher Julian, let's talk about collections. When
Sure.
did you start collecting stuff? Like, I mean, in a moment we're going to be speaking about comics, but when did you start like collecting things?
Well, the first thing that I started collecting was comics. Yes, when I was in high school, when I started high school, I used to have a couple of friends who like to draw, and I like to draw too. So we started checking references. Yes, we used to write our own comic stories, very short, very simple. We started to create our own superheroes. I was more focused into this kind of stories about the future with spaceships and robots and stuff like that. But one of my friends started showing some comics like Superman and Batman. Yes, I have some of them from that period.
What is that number? Because last program we had a teacher Mauro, and he said it was 44. No, the number 44.
Well,
Something.
actually, this is a Colombian edition, so the Colombian edition has a different number.
Okay.
And obviously, our comics, the comics we that were sold in Colombia, were like 10 years after the original one was released.
All
Can you
right.
imagine that?
Wow.
So when I started collecting comics, I was a little bit, surprised because of the clothes that the characters used to wear. Very formal, like in those days.
All right, yeah, that was like from the 50s, maybe 50s, 40s, or
60s, 70s, mostly the 70s.
Okay.
And I started collecting the comics at the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. Different things, Remember this guy?
yeah.
Oh yeah, the Nuclear Man.
Yes. This edition is very nice because it had a poster, and the poster is this. Okay.
Well,
Just
He's look,
a picture.
he looks
of the
like
main character
Nicholas
in
if
the TV series.
Nicholas was like American.
And that was the first thing I started collecting. I don't have too many, but I have some that I consider are quite interesting.
Predator.
Okay.
Check that.
Yes.
That was first a comic and then a movie, or
When a movie is released, there is usually a comic version. Yes,
okay.
for collectors. Yes, you can see the Predator here. The policeman. Also, for example, there is one I like very much that is Star Trek, and this comic is based on one of the first movies we saw here in Colombia. and it's another a comic version of the film. You know, the same story, the same thing, but like a comic book. So
Interesting.
it's quite nice for collectors. Well, these ones are very old, yes, and I collected some comics during 10 years, more or less.
Wow, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The what?
Attention.
Healed in a hard show. Turtle power.
Yes, this is Mexican. This is Mexican version.
Oh.
Well, the drawing is not the best, but it was good. It was a comic series that was very short here in Colombia because in the middle of the 90s, the comics were going down.
But
You know,
teacher,
Yeah.
I
so
mean,
people were buying comic books and stuff like that.
but what do we need to become a collector? I mean, I believe that has to be that needs or requires some passion. I mean, when did you discover that passion that you say, okay, I don't just want to read this, I want to collect them, I want to save them, and I don't know, take care of them. Because for some people, it's like, okay, I got this comic, then I read it, and I put it there, in my library, on my bookshelf. And if it got lost, okay, no problem. But how did you decide, like, okay, I'm going to collect this?
Well, how can I say this? As you mentioned, is something like a very big passion you feel about things, you know.
Yeah.
Because I like drawing, because I like drawing when I was a teenager, I decided to keep these comics as a reference. And from time to time, my collection started to become bigger and bigger. You know, it is not only like superheroes I used to read comics about.
Yeah,
You remember
Archie.
this guy,
Yeah, Archie.
Archie, Colombian edition, and the Mighty Mouse. You remember?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Oh, the Mighty Mouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that was my favorite superhero. I remember now. Yeah.
And this guy, well, there is a movie.
Oh, yeah, Flash Gordon.
Flash.
Yes, there are many things. I used to collect different kinds of comics because I needed them as a reference. Yes, but talking about comics, I never felt like a collector. You know, a collector has to have a really big collection, about 2,000 comics in his collection.
Okay.
This is how you start to feel like a collector, you know. But anyway, my collection is not very big, you know, but I love it so much. Yes, and I have it all the time near my hand to read and reread again and again, and read about many things, you know. But this guy, you remember this?
Oh, yeah. The Chilean man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Condorito.
So there are many things. In my case, there are many things. I'm not focused only on superheroes or only on cartoons or stuff like that.
I
There
remember.
are many things.
I remember
But
Condorito. Okay, no,
passion
sorry, continue.
is passion in the first case.
Okay.
Yes, when you want to keep something and you want to keep that in a big number is when you start to think, okay, I am collecting this. But it's difficult to be a collector because you want to have everything, you know?
Okay.
And having everything is almost impossible. Music, okay, action figures or comics, whatever you want to collect, is almost impossible to get all of them, you know?
You know,
But there are
I remember Condorito from when I was a kid because when I lived with my father, he has a business in the house, and people had to wait like in a little reception. So he had a lot of Condoritos comics, so for people to entertain while wearing it. And he had a subscription to a local newspaper, and they deliver the latest issue of Condorito. But you know, it has to be passion because at that time I read them. I don't think I understood them, but I laughed anyway. But the thing is that we had a lot. I mean, they were a lot. Probably from what I just saw was more like than 100. But I never felt the need to collect them because for me they didn't represent they were just paper, you know.
Yes, exactly. And it's how you feel about the thing. And well, not only comic books, not only music. There are different things like this kind of things,
Ah, Super
There are many
Mario.
people. There are many people that like to collect anything about Super Mario Brothers, or not only the video games, but comic books, but about these figures. This pixel figure is very cool. So I wanted to have it, but I don't have a collection about this topic only. That's the point. Some people are focused on just one thing. For example, Transformers figures, action figures. Or He-Man or the Thundercats figures, or only comics, or only films. Yes. So it depends on the thing you liked the most. Yes, is when you start to keep and want to have more and more and more. And they are very attractive. When we talk about action figures or figures like this. This is
Wow.
a model of Robotech. Yes, that I found at Corferias like 6 years ago, I guess. It was in a
That's
good price,
pretty cool.
and I like it very much. And I like it very much.
So
And I
like,
keep it as a treasure. There are many things, and there are people that like to collect albums. This is one when I was a kid. The first, and I guess the only Transformers
Oh.
album that existed in Colombia. It's pretty old. It's from the 1985. You can imagine when the first movie was released
Wow.
and the TV series was very popular. So there are
Teacher
people
Luis
that
was
collect
like 30 years old in 1985.
No, 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 no. 1985, I was going to school.
I,
or
I,
for example, the people that like to collect, for example, baseball cards, or for example, these soccer albums for each soccer cup.
Soccer
Yeah, the
you know,
World Cup. Yeah, I
and,
like that. That
and
is
they
something I
and they
like.
cost millions of pesos
yeah.
to have one of those albums from the 80s. Well, in perfect conditions, of course. So by the time this stuff becomes more difficult to get, and the price increases. So for some people, it's like a business to have this stuff. And for others, it's just like a passion, or something that they like too much, right?
Yeah, the things like, for example, we were talking about having a collection last program with Luis and Juan, and that's why we're talking today about this topic, which is collection. And I told them it's for me. I want to collect something, but for me it's difficult because I just give up. No, I try. I buy, I don't know, a baseball card or whatever, and after I don't know, short time, I just give up because it's hard. No, it's hard to keep this. How can we say this activity, this hobby? Yeah.
It's
Uh,
It's a
exhausting.
hobby,
Can be exhausting.
yeah, exactly. At the end, it's not like a hobby, but it's something that make you feel stressed because you can find the toy or the figure to complete your collection. So how?
Yes,
Yeah,
at the beginning it's like a hobby, then becomes a passion, and in the worst case, it becomes an obsession. Yes, because you want to have them all. And to
Like
be
the
a collector is
Pokemons.
really to be a real collector is very difficult because you need a space for your collection, a big space for your collection, and the most difficult is that you need a lot of money, tons
Yes.
of money to
And
buy
when,
all the things you
that's
want
why
to have in
teacher
your
Mauro
collection.
also said, no, like
and when you get married and you got kids, it's difficult to collect and keep your kids.
you can collect kicks,
Is it like?
collection of children.
Is it like you need to keep your kids away from your collection because they can damage.
Absolutely.
But it's like
Want to
Nicolas,
be-
for example, he wants to
You
collect
want to
hamburgers.
collect that Playboy magazine, no? You were collecting that
Yeah,
magazine.
when I was young. But Nicola wants to collect like hamburgers, like different hamburgers, but that's difficult to keep. Well, but teacher, I mean, this is of course that we have established that this have to be passion. I mean, if you're not passionate about this, probably you're going to give up when you find the first obstacle. And of course, with time, those objects become more and more valuable, and that's the thing. But let's talk about your situation in this moment, your personal collection. Thank you. It's like, what is the, I don't know, What was that first comic that you got, and why is it so special?
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer because at the moment I don't remember. I remember the first time I bought some comics. I bought like 5 or 6 because they were very cheap. Yes, because I bought them like secondhand comics. But I remember that I had a collection of stories of Spider-Man in translated to Spanish in a book. Yes, and the book had the name "I Am Spider-Man." Unfortunately, unfortunately, this is something that I recommend to never do. I recommend not to do is to pass your comics to another person and disappears.
Especially
And that book
Like it's like books.
yeah, that book disappeared. Yes. A friend of mine asked me, I want to read all the stories. I'm very passionate about Spider-Man. Please let me read it for a while and I'll give it back to you, and never returns. I guess that was one of my most valuable things for comics. But it depends. It depends. There are many things that you appreciate. For example, one of the items I like the most is this beautiful Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
who is
Just
that?
based on the
Michelangelo?
movie.
I know Raphael.
Teenage Mutant
Yes.
Ninja
This
Turtles.
is yes, this is one of the most. This is one of the most
Yeah.
important items for me. Yes.
Why?
There are many things.
Why,
many
Julian?
things.
Why so important?
Because I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because of the movie, and this reminds me the moment when I fell in love of these characters after watching the first film in the 1989. Yes, that was the first time I watched the film, and I was in love of this story and these characters. Yes, and this version is the same. Like the Ninja Turtles you saw in the movie, they are exactly the same. Yes, it's like the same
my
scale
favorite-
and design.
My favorite was Michelangelo.
I don't. No,
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I love them because I used to watch them. I remember when I was kid, like 6 or 7 years old, they were on TV all the time.
Long time ago.
No, not so long. They were on TV every Saturday. I remember that they were in the morning, like every Saturday. You can see.
Yes, the TV series.
Yeah, and I remember that at 1 p.m. sort of, you can see like these stories that historias asombrosas. I remember at one.
I
yes.
remember, yeah.
Yeah, at 1 p.m. on Saturdays, but.
Yes, amazing stories.
I love
Yeah,
that.
but I remember because I mean, at that point, I wasn't at school because my father was teaching me at home. But I remember that I had.
That's why.
Yeah, yeah, but I remember that. I remember that I had to do my homework in order to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that was my inspiration, my motivation. That was so cool,
Yeah.
man. And the theme song, tremendous.
Yeah, remember, just you can live your life based on Splinter's teachings.
Yes,
No?
but it felt.
But remember that, yes, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic was very rough, and the stories were very violent, really violent. So when the movie was released, there was a tension because the people knew the original story, and they thought that the movie was going to be so violent, but actually it was completely different. It was for a big audience. So yes, there were some fightings, but they were not very violent. And the same happened with the cartoons that Luis mentioned. Yes, they are not so violent. Okay. And another important thing is that in the cartoons, each turtle had a different color.
Yes.
Blue, yellow,
Like
red,
mask,
and
purple.
one was like violet. But in the original
Violet.
version, all of them were wearing red. Yes, so For
alright.
for TV series, for movies, there are always changes to adapt for the public, for children or for teenagers or for adults.
To
So
identify them, right?
it's changed much. Yes, but the original comic book, the original stories are very, very violent. Yes, and aggressive and
Maybe the
stuff.
last version, no? They made a movie based on the turtles, and it was the last version, no? It was the same.
Based on a real story? No.
No, but I think it's more violent than the original one, or I don't know. I haven't
No,
watched.
I think they are similar in
Okay.
the fighting scenes, but the story was more interesting in the first one that was at the
Yeah.
end of the 90s.
And it's also very interesting how
it
they
was
did.
more interesting. It was more interesting.
No, it's very interesting to see how they depict the personality of the different turtles. Like Raphael is strong, and the leader, and Donatello is the one who creates. It's like the theme song, but it's like the Mikey is like the party dude,
The happy guy, yeah.
the one who likes pizza. Okay, this is such nice conversation. We're learning a lot. It's not just about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, which I love. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team. But we're going to click on music for the second time. And then we're going to keep on talking about this very interesting topic. Where's the second song?
And this song is very interesting. This song is the soundtrack for the first movie, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. So maybe you can remember something.
Okay, Julian, introduce the song, please.
I don't have that talent, so
Let me show you.
Okay, we are going to listen to.
Let's click on music for the second time. Let's click on Spin That Wheel by High Tech.
It sounds like a spin that wheel. Okay. No.
Spin That Wheel.
Wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Welcome back, Click on listeners. Here we are on Click on Air. Wednesday, 4 p.m. Radio Amiga International, speaking about comics today. Welcome again.
Mr. Sanchez? Mr. Sanchez Cristo? Wow,
And
my heavens.
we were listening to Spin That Wheel by High Tech 3. A recommendation from our guest, teacher Julian Jimenez. Hey, teacher. Hey, teacher, how was that song? Why did you select that?
Teacher?
Yes, because it was the soundtrack of the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
You see?
It was a good memory for that.
What year was that movie released? Do you remember?
It was at the end of the 1989.
1989.
I don't know the exact date, but it was in that time.
I don't remember that movie. Was it animated? I don't know.
No, that was...
it was live action. It was a live action film.
Okay.
The costumes were very good, right? I like the costumes in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very, very, very well done. Very well made, actually.
I don't know why I've been thinking about this new movie with this girl. What is the name of the girl? Avril O'Neil, but
yeah, that's a new version.
Megan Fox.
Yeah, that's what I asked teacher Julian, but he said no, that's not really good. The first one. This is the. I remember there is a scene where the turtles dance. Right? Is with this song, Julian?
No, but it's in the second film. The second film with Vanilla Ice, and Vanilla Ice is in a disco, and the turtles appear there, and they had a fight, and after that they started to dance. But it's in the second film. It's in the second film that it was released in the 1991, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Yes, but and in that case, Vanilla Ice created the song. It's called The Ninja App. You can watch it on YouTube. It's pretty fun to watch.
And then Vanilla Ice were exposed.
Disappeared. Yes.
Right,
it was a little popular, but
one of Nicolas's superheroes, Vanilla Ice. Teacher, speaking about your collection in this moment, what is that like? I don't know. That object could be like a comic book or an object that you have that is the most valuable. But talking about like feelings, that you have a feeling attachment, like like an emotional attachment to that object. Which one is that?
Well, basically, in my case, is because all this stuff reminds me the time when I was a teenager. Because I still have a couple of toys when I was a kid. But these ones, the comics and these figures, remind me when I was a teenager, and I enjoyed that time in my life so much with my close friends. You know, making drawings, talking about superheroes, and talking about comic books, and talking about cartoons and TV series was something really really nice, and something that I liked and I enjoyed very very much. So that's why I try to keep them during though with this time over the years. You know, they are very old now, but for me they are still fresh. When I read them, I remember situations that I lived when I was a teenager, especially when I was at school. And for me, that's good. It's good to remember good things about your life. This is my case, to remember, to have a connection with the past. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really.
There are many things that people like to collect, and they are connected maybe to a special moment in their lives. Yes, or maybe, as I said, it becomes a passion because you really like that topic. You know, you really like that character, and after that, it could become an obsession that you want to have everything about that. You know. But it starts with a feeling. It starts with a feeling in my case.
So,
you know?
do you collect comics, music as well?
Toys.
Toys. What else, Julian?
This is it. This is all my collection about. I just have
Cards, sport cards,
action figures.
Helicopters.
It's not my cup of tea, as English said. No, my collection is about comics. Just a few figures and some. And I have a little collection of manga.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. What's the difference between comic and manga? Comic books and manga.
Well, actually, they are the same. You know, it's a group of pictures, telling a story. Okay. Yes. But the main difference is that manga is like to say comic in Japanese. Yes. And this is a story. One of the biggest differences is that you read them in a different way, not from left to right, but from right to left.
Oh, okay.
This is different to read. And the other aspect is obviously the kind of art they have is completely different from American style. And another thing is that they are also in black and white. Oh, okay. Just a few pages in color, like special pictures or special, drawings that they want to show in color, but mostly is in black and white.
So you read Japanese? Interesting.
No, this is in English. This is in English, actually.
And Julian, sorry.
Yes, and another important thing is manga is always focused on Japanese culture. Yes, if you start reading manga, different kinds of manga or different genres like horror or mystery or supernatural things or comedy, they are always focused on Japan. Yes, and one thing that I liked very much is that they portrayed real places from Japan. Yes, and there are some videos on YouTube in which they show the real place and the drawing version, and it's exactly the same. Mm-hmm. They like to keep their culture on this kind of art, but it's always focused on Japanese culture. It's very rare to see a manga that mentions, for example, the United States or another place different than Japan. They are very focused on their place and very focused on their culture. Yes, that is one of the biggest differences between manga and comics.
So you can learn American. Yeah, you can learn Japanese culture through manga. That's
absolutely, and anime as well. You learn a lot. They always mention their festivals, their carnivals. Yes, the customs they have. For example, in Christmas, they like to eat fried chicken and they like to eat a strawberry cake.
So
That is very common in Japan.
manga is the book in anime.
There's a lot of things.
Manga is the book and anime is the series, right?
Yes, it's like the cartoons.
Okay. Teacher,
We know that, man. We already know that.
teacher, in this moment, is there like an item or I don't know, a comic or a toy that you would like to have?
At this moment, a comic. Well, actually, I would like to have a series of comics of Spider-Man created, but this artist, well, I forgot his name, but he was the creator of the Venom character.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a boy. Teacher Mauro told us it was a little boy who created Venom.
He also created Spawn, the character of Spawn. Yes, that guy, LaForte, I guess his last name is LaForte, something like that. I would like to have that collection of, well, it's not a big collection, but I like his art. It's very impressive with a lot of details. It's like to watch a film when you read these comic books. But well, nowadays it's not necessary to have the physical thing to read a comic book. There are a lot of internet spaces to read comic books.
Julian,
Is Todd McFarlane the creator of Venom? Creator?
Exactly, that guy.
Okay, Todd McFarlane.
Google it. Now todo el mundo ahora Google. Julian, is there a collection that would you like to start?
At this moment, at this time, no, actually not. Talking about music, I've got almost all the albums from the bands that I like the most. And from comics, as I mentioned, I've been reading comics on internet. There are a lot of free websites in which you can read a lot of comic books from different times, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, etc. They are usually in English. There used to be some in Spanish, but mostly they are in English. And last weekend, I read some Spider-Man stories that I used to read when I was a teenager, and they were from the 70s. And it's nice. Again, you remember a lot of things about your life when you read the comics. You see the evolution.
I like that. I really like that. No?
I am like Nicolas, for example. I like to collect books, but I don't like to read them. I have like 3 books, and I have read one.
Just to pretend I am very intelligent. No?
Yeah, I am the one that pose in front of my bookshelf, like with a lot of books, but I haven't read them.
There are people that like to collect books, and it's one of the most common collections. Other ones like to collect movies. Well, I wanted to show you something that I like very much when I was.
My goodness!
Young adult. Yes, you remember these guys?
Yeah,
of course.
And Santiago More, when they were cartoon characters.
Yeah. Siguiente programa.
What is that? The movie?
No, this is a collection of DVDs they released like more than 10 years ago. It was like 4 DVD collection.
My goodness.
Yes, with all the episodes they had. And cool. If you remember how they criticized.
Yeah, crítica televisiva. Crítica televisiva.
Exactly. And there is a lot, but this is only the cartoon stories. Yes.
Locutores.
They are very nice. But this no longer exists. It was just one release and no more. If you got it, you were lucky.
Julian, could you borrow me? Could you borrow me your movies?
Can I make a copy? Can I make a copy? I remember the old guy of the month. They have that section.
Yes, you can watch them on YouTube. They have their own channel.
They have a section that was the old man of the month. In this case, Nicolas.
when they were watching TV and criticizing,
crítica televisiva,
and TV presenters and radio announcers.
Enanos, very important.
They criticize
dwarfs.
Right now, the old man of the month is Nicolas.
I thought it was me. I thought it was me because Nicolas is younger.
You see, I am young. You see, teacher Julian noticed that.
No. It's like I remember. Oh my God, I love. And right now I'm watching La Tele Letal, which is the remake. They've been with that product for a long time. Books are nice to collect because, as one of my teacher once told me, the good thing with books is that you can collect books in different ways. For example, you can collect them because of the author and you like the author, for example, Garcia Marquez collection, or you can collect books because of their content, because the content is interesting, or you can just collect books because of the year.
The time, yeah. Oh.
For example, I don't know, here in these countries like Argentina, Colombia, and South America, is because we're relatively young countries. When we started printing books here, it was like 200 or 250 years ago. So the books, our original books, are not very old. But we know that when they started printing books in Europe, that was like, I don't know, 600 years ago. So when you got a book from that from those years, it doesn't matter if the contents of the book is good or not, if you like it or not. For example, I remember that
the smell, no? Is that
exactly.
a smell of the book? Yeah.
No, and I remember my teacher show me or show us in the class a book that she got from a library, from a book store in England, and that was from, I don't know, like 1600, and it was a book on herbal remedies. But she said the contents of the book is not interesting, but the fact that it was printed.
Yes, that's right. It's like a piece of collection.
Yeah, the fact that it was printed like 500 years ago is interesting.
Yes, for example, for the people that collect figures, for example, Transformers, the first figures were released in the 1980s. They were not so nice, like the ones that we see or we can get now. But because of the time in which they were released is their importance.
Yes.
Okay. In this, what you said is absolutely right. In many cases, it's because how old the thing is that is important for the collector.
So yes. Nicolas would be collected. Nicolas could be collected. Teacher, just to close, because time's so short, unfortunately, but we have to go. But I want to ask this last question: DC or Marvel?
Yes. Well, it's a difficult
Bogotá, DC. Marvel no me gusta mucho.
Oh no.
When I started with the comic stuff, mostly I got a lot of DC comics. Not very much, not many from Marvel. But and I stopped for a while, being interested in superheroes and stuff. But when the Marvel stories appeared on movies, is with the first one that it was Spider-Man in the 2000. I started to become interested in Marvel, and now I like how Marvel industry has connected all their films, and they are connecting series, and they are creating a very big universe of Marvel, and they have been very organized on that, and they have taken risks with new superheroes, but the results have been amazing. Yes, you can imagine. I remember a friend who laughed at me because she didn't like superhero films, and I wanted to watch Iron Man, the first Iron Man film, with her. And she laughed at me because this is not art, this is useless, But can you imagine nowadays how these Marvel films, how important they are? They are iconic now.
Yeah, for the pop culture. I think that the second Iron Man movie is the best one.
Yeah,
that's right. And nowadays there are many important actors and actresses that want to have the chance to participate in one of those films. You know,
Yes, this.
many people criticize them, but yes, they are popular now, and they are becoming more and more interested for youngers and for adults.
Yeah, in some
You know, and
days.
it's something that I like much.
In some days,
Something
we
that I
will have
like
the
very much.
we will have the opportunity to see the Eternals, November the 4th.
Exactly, and remember when we were teenagers or kids, it was impossible to have a movie like that.
No,
Now
it
with the visual effects, CGI is absolutely nice to see those superheroes doing their fights and all that stuff and showing their powers and stuff.
And did you like Marvel in MasterChef?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I'm joking. No. So conclusion,
That kind of content.
conclusion, Marvel, no? He said.
Okay, teacher Julian.
At this moment, okay.
More than DC, but I still love DC. I still love
Okay,
DC.
teacher Julian.
I'm more interested in Marvel stories.
Thank you
Not
for
Marvel.
exactly. Thank you for being with us today, teacher Julian. That was a nice conversation. Sure. It's always nice to hear about these kind of collections and these kind of things that bring so many memories from when we were younger. I mean, when I was younger, probably Nicolas was less old, but it was nice. It was nice to hear that. And remember, Clic on listeners, next Wednesday, we'll be waiting for you here at Clic on Air, 4 p.m. as every Wednesday here at Radio Amiga International. Okay, teacher Nicolas, thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, teacher Julian. Thank you, Clic on viewers. Great program. See you next Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Be prepared for Halloween, guys. Be prepared for Halloween.
Yes. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, yeah.
Happy Halloween to everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Las opiniones y temas vertidos en este programa son de exclusiva responsabilidad de quienes los emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento y filosofía de Radio Amiga y la Universidad La Gran Colombia.
You want to learn languages and culture? Clic on Air is your best option. Come and join us. Listen to us every Wednesday through www.radioamigainternational.com.
Radio Amiga, musical culture, 11 years on air.